Hi, friends. Yvonne Stewart here with you on our Revelations in the Waiting Season series. Have you ever had a promise from God and then had to wait for it? We all do. And in this series, I'm sharing some of the revelations that I've received while waiting on God. Today's revelation is a revelation of God and his ways. As I was waking up one morning, I started thinking about contentment. I was laying there having a spirit to spirit conversation with the Lord, saying, I know you want me to exist in contentment, and I am. But what's the balance between being content where I am and pressing in for the more that I know you have for me? I am very satisfied with all God is giving me, and in the place I am right now, I know it's a place of blessing. He has given us a Sabbath rest, and I treasure it. On the other hand, I am very aware of all of the promises that He has made me, and I want them, and I want them now, of course. So many times in our walk with God, there is a dichotomy of situations. These things are things may be wearing out in my body, but I know by Jesus' stripes I am healed and he has redeemed me from death. So why am I not walking in total divine health yet? I know God came to give me life and life more abundantly, the very life like God has it. So why isn't that fullness of life manifested? I know God doesn't have any area of lack in his life in any way, not even a little bit. Yet I am content where God has me because I know he has brought me here. But I also know I want all that he has for me, and I will continue to press for it and believe him for it. The thing is, he is working out all of those wonderful things that he has for me, and he is doing it in his own way, in his own timing. I still remember a word I got one September, that God is never in a hurry. Hurry is a human thing, not a God thing. As my pastor preached one Wednesday night, hurry is one of the idols of our time. Ouch. Something that I've heard people say so many times in the course of my life concerning a myriad of different situations is that God's ways are higher than our ways. It's in the Bible, of course. I knew that. I know that. But I always felt like people said that as an excuse for not being able to explain for something or for not being able to understand God. And my answer to that, which I have preached many times, is yes, God's ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. But we have his spirit living on the inside of us. We have the mind of Christ, so we can know his ways and his thoughts. That is in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 9 to 10 and verse 16. Let me read it. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. But it was to us God revealed these things by his Spirit. For his Spirit searches out everything and shows us God's deep secrets. For who can know the Lord's thoughts? Who knows enough to teach him? But we understand these things, for we have the mind of Christ. Even though that is definitely true, walking through this past season has given me a gift I didn't realize I did not have, an awareness of how thoroughly awesome God's ways actually are, and how, yes, they are much higher than my ways. The Passion Translation says, my thoughts are far beyond anything you could think of. Aren't they though? How many times, how many things has God thought of that we never would have thought of? How many ways has God done something in our life and we think, I would never have thought to do it that way? Don't they turn out to be much better than how and when and why we would have done a certain thing? I have seen God do a lot of things for me in my life, things I never would have thought of. But I still did not have a revelation that God's ways are higher than my ways and his thoughts than my thoughts. I knew it in my head, but I didn't have a heart revelation of it. I did not live and breathe an awareness of the awesomeness of God's thoughts and his ways. I did not have a reverential fear and worship of God because of his ways and thoughts being so far beyond what I could dream up on my own. That is what I am learning in this season of waiting. That is what I would never have learned without this season of waiting. The slowdown has given me the opportunity, whether I wanted it or not, or knew I needed it or not, to really go deep into introspection of the awesomeness of God's ways and thoughts. Seeing them worked out step by step in front of me when life is so slow that I couldn't possibly miss it, that's when the revelation was able to bloom inside of me. To see so clearly now that if it had happened the way I thought it should unfold, well, these other things would have never happened. Vital things, things I wouldn't have learned, vital things. God knows what I'm going to need to know in the future, so he has me learning it in the present. And isn't that something I pray for every day? I sit down with the word and I pray, God, show me what I don't know and show me what I need to know. He answered me in a way, again, I didn't think of. And now when I get on my knees every morning to declare the lordship of Jesus over my life, proclaim the denial of myself, take up my cross, and to declare once more my commitment to follow him, the Passion Translation of that verse comes out too. I'll continually surrender to your ways. What follows is a worship of God whose ways are higher than my ways and whose thoughts are far beyond anything I could think of. And what has also gained a new foothold of wonder in my spirit and turned into a daily declaration of worship is a favorite benediction from Ephesians 3:20 and 21. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or hope or imagine. And then I ask him to do what he can do any way he wants to in my life. This daily coming back to wonder has driven the wonder deeper, has exploded wonder for God inside of me. He is faithful. He is my rock. I have put all my hope and trust in him. And I believe this, what Isaiah 55:11 says in the Amplified. So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void without producing any effect, but it shall accomplish that which I please and purpose, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. Well, that's all for today. I hope you have received some revelation from God. And for further studies, I put some scriptures in the description of this video for you to check out. I hope you'll join me right back here on Monday at 12 Central. Have a blessed week.